The Battleface podcast is broadcast live on Fridays and Sundays, and we encourage you to come hang out and chat with Bard and Dare live. Now, prepare to declare attacks. You are entering the Battle Phase.
There's only those two, unfortunately.
There's one of what?
There's only those two.
Well,
that thread.
Well, that sucks. But hello, everyone. You have entered the Battle Phase. It is I, the Midnight Bard, your favorite bard, and joining me as always is Dareinger, who is amused by the price of things.
Why do you do this?
Do what?
Why do you do this to me?
What do I do to you? Send you down rabbit holes?
Everything.
You say you like rabbits.
I hate you.
Yes. So speaking of rabbits, before we begin, please remember to like, sub, and share. It's the easiest way to help the podcast grow, baby. It is fantastic.
Starting the stream mid sentence. When I'm mid sentence, you start the stream. You make these segues that make no sense.
Yeah. But speaking of segues that make no sense, to our listeners on the podcasting platforms, welcome. And if you'd like to watch our broadcast live, which we do every Friday night and Sunday, Sunday morning, except for the past two, but that's neither here nor there. If you'd like to catch us live and chat with us live while these episodes are being broadcasted, follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@thebattlephase. We do all of these lives. You can chat with us, give us your hot takes, be a part of the conversation. It's a lot of fun. Unless you're Dare, in which case he hates it here.
It's fucking pain. And I swore within the first minute. Damn.
What are you up to this week, Dare?
Well, we've actually had a couple things that I've been up to. I don't remember any of them, but yeah, we've been doing some stuff. One of the things, we did start watching the original Avatar anime again.
Neat.
And I forgot how good it is. It's dated and it's like animation and stuff, but it's still good.
Yeah, it holds up really well. It
still looks good.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Avatar, one of those anime. I call it anime. But it's kind of weird because it's all over the place. It's an American production that was animated in Korea. That's anime style, which is Japanese, and it has a bunch of Asian mythology from basically all corners. So
the thing that I had forgotten though was how not fans are how obvious they made it Aang and Katara are going to be a thing eventually, because God, Aang is just like the wizard, just risen up all over the place.
The wizard, I've never heard that, and I enjoy it.
He's the Wizard of Oz. He's gonna cast his riz on you.
Yeah, and he is down bad for Katara pretty much out of the gate, isn't he?
Which was it's a decent choice, but I mean Ty Lee was better.
I know
Ty Lee's the best.
I think that my taste for toxic women, or I was aware that I had taste for toxic women when I liked Azula out of everyone.
Yeah.
It's
how did I see that one come in?
Why not Ty Lee? I was I don't know, something about Azula, the way that she looks down on people. Probably me.
I'd say the other firebender girl, but I don't know her name. I can't remember her name.
There's another firebender girl? Oh, you mean the other girl from the Fire Nation? You mean May?
Was that her name?
Yeah, it's May or Mai or something. Mai, Ty Lee, and Azula, the three of them. Charlie's Ozai's Angels.
Was she the emo I'm brooding?
Yeah, the one that throws knives. Yeah, her.
Yeah, I didn't like her.
Yeah, well, Zuko did, but that's really about it, I guess.
I mean, nobody likes Zuko either, so I mean,
what are you talking about? Zuko has one of the best redemption arcs in all of media, dude. It was
We haven't even got to the first slide, and we've already went off track.
well, yeah, but we were talking about what you were doing this week. That this is how we always lead, like what are we doing? What are we watching? What are we listening to?
This is issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Avatar, good anime.
Good anime for sure. Speaking of anime, I've been watching one called "A Returner's Magic Should Be Special," which I feel like it's an awkward title.
How so?
It just feels like really weird. A returner's magic should be special. Like it feels like an out of context conversation. Like we just clip some.
The yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
But my reasoning would be because I don't know what a returner is referring to. I'm assuming it's like a person's occupation or like class or something in this.
So I think that this is something that was lost in translation because let me explain to you the plot. So basically, it's luckily it's not an isekai. It looks like we're doing a lot to just bring back regular fantasy, which is great. Me personally, I prefer it that way. But
It's time thief lore.
yeah, time thief lore is exactly what
Time
it is
thief re-
because what
time thief
happens.
redoer.
What happens here is, they go. A party goes out to kill the Demon King. Apparently, they were at it for years, probably over a decade, and they suffered a great deal of, tragedy and difficulty while they were doing so. And they finally kill it, and when they do, its mana overloads and it explodes, killing the remaining party members. Allegedly killing the remaining party members who thought that they were off the hook. They could go home, right? And so big explosion, and next thing we know, our MC wakes up in his 17-year-old body, I think.
1738.
Yeah, so he's back in time to before all of this happened, and basically given a do-over to get it all to do it all over again, right? So it seems it's got a solid hook in that he knows what's coming. He's lived it. He survived all the way to the end. A lot of people didn't. A lot of close friends didn't. So it's almost like he starts off this new journey by basically. He's a little shocked at first, like, "Oh shit, I'm back in time. What the hell?" But at the same time, he's kind of like, "I can save them. I can, so he beelines for the two that fell in battle, like his love interest and his good buddy, right? And he's like, okay, she was always gifted, and because of that, she was never really challenged until she was out in the battlefield. Easy kill, so you can't let that happen again. And he wasn't part of like the noble class, so nobody ever really gave him too much attention, so he never got like a master to help him refine his natural swordsmanship gift. So we can't let that happen again. So he starts making choices to kind of like lead to a better future where everyone lives, or more people live, and to where maybe we can get ahead of this tragedy before it happens, and that way nobody dies. Yeah.
I got distracted. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I've never been like a fan of the whole you died or you went to sleep and then woke up again, and it was like the Groundhog Day type thing where it's just the same day over and over and over again.
Yeah, this would be like the same decade over again.
That's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like because it's one of those things where it's like I would do it differently, but
Yeah.
like I don't know of too many animes that do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe I'd have to give it a chance and watch it, but
Yeah.
it seems interesting.
I think that this is where the name A Returner's Magic should be special, because he returned back to before it all started. I think it's kind of like one of those lost in translation things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so I thought that it had an interesting hook. Off the top of my head, I was like, yeah, that's interesting, and the fact that it's pure fantasy and not an isekai already bonus points for me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, yeah, that looks like it could be fun. Now we're moving on to gaming. Dare, a new patch on Dota? Dare plays Dota. What does the patch do? Is it something fun? Tell us, Dare. Tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us.
Yeah, see, this is what we were talking about before the stream when I was like, you just put whatever the hell down you want, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. These slides have no coherence whatsoever. I just basically word vomit on them.
Yeah, that's apparent.
Yeah,
I've,
you know what else is apparent? My dad.
I don't have one of those anymore.
No, no.
Yeah, you wanted to make it sad about you, but I just took that from you, didn't I?
No, it wasn't meant to be said.
GG, GG no re.
My dad is a parent. You
Why?
see, it was supposed to be a dumb joke.
Hold on, hold
It
on,
was
hold
supposed
on
to
a
be a
second.
pun.
Like, look at my character whenever I speak. Like I'm like glitching in and out of reality.
Yeah, that's been happening
Like,
for a while. I don't know.
oh,
It was like an OBS update or something, and so now this is the world we
I
live
don't
in.
I don't feel too well, Mr. Stark.
I noticed it last time, and I just didn't say anything because I was like, "Oh, this must be an update or something." I was like, "Well, I don't know how to fix it, so it is what it is now."
Anyways, so Dota 2, the official Dota 2 Twitter posted that the 7.34e update will be released on Monday, the 20th.
Yeah.
Which this is it's a lettered update, so it's not going to be like a huge patch, but basically this is the first patch since the international, and there's going to be a lot of changes because basically it's the stuff that was really strong during the international and that was proven to be really strong during the international is going to be kind of just buried into the ground,
Yeah.
which I thought ahead. I made a little bit of a list of
Mm-hmm.
things that I think I'm going to see on. We could probably most likely see on this. The first would be Necrophos, his Aghanim's upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It he has a passive that does a percentage base damage effect,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get his Aghanim's upgrade, it increases that percentage base damage by 60%.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem like much, but then you factor in some facts that you can get a lot of regen, and then you press a button and your opponent's health just disappears. It's most likely going to get rework or a nerf.
Hmm.
Bristleback could guarantee that they're going to end up like nerfing the shit out of his Aghanims and his damage block, because currently he can just like go 1v5 and
Ooh.
not die,
Yikes.
and it's not right.
I want to take
uh,
a moment here to say hello to Vex and Gamma who are in the chat.
as well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, hi Vex and Gamma who are in the chat.
Yeah, but also, yeah, no, that sounds like it needs to be nerfed, dude. Anytime anyone can go like 1v5, that's a problem.
Yeah, I honestly don't see a problem with just a guy being able to walk into the enemy fountain, which as it hits you, it puts a debuff on you that increases the damage that you're taking,
Hmm.
and he's just fine with that. Like that's not something that I have a problem with. It's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. I know
No,
you have a difficult time of telling when I say it, because I'm always like, "Oh, Mystic Mind to 3," and you're like, "No, dear." But it's like,
no. Like, actually, like right now, it's just being distracted because, like, I don't know if this is coming through the chat, through the mic, but there is someone just fucking doing donuts and burnouts out in the parking lot, and I can hear the tires screeching.
yeah, that's coming through the mic. I can hear it.
Oh, great,
I
fantastic.
can't. I can't. I'm lying.
Okay,
Uh,
because
another. Another hero, Spirit Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is like the MVP of the international, where it had like I think a 90+% pick ban rate.
Mm-hmm.
So if it wasn't picked, then it was banned in 90% of every single game.
Mm-hmm.
Just they need to either nerf the charge damage or the cooldown, and they need to nerf his bulldoze magic resist or status resistance, because once again, it's a hero that does damage based on how fast he moves.
Mm-hmm.
So he can use his speed boosts, go across the map, and just one shot people.
Yeah,
And then
that's insanity.
bulldoze giving him status resistance means that he can do that, and then if the enemy team starts to try to kill him, he just presses that and he can just walk away. The last hero that I have is Lone Druid, because fuck that hero.
Right.
Uh,
I have no context for this. Why fuck that guy? Why?
the 7.3 patch, they made a fourth attribute, which is universal,
Mm-hmm.
and Lone Druid is a universal hero.
Mm-hmm.
Universal heroes are just kind of broken, because if you get a stat item, one all stat counts for all of their stats, and they get strength and stuff. They get damage from each of their stats now instead of just one primary.
Uh-huh.
So since Lone Druid is a uh, all stat, or it's a universal, he can just buy 6 branches at level 1, and he hits for an additional like 18 damage, and it's not good.
I was gonna say 18 sounds, depending on the context, sounds like a lot. Is it a lot?
Like normally your starting damage is like 50 to 100 ish.
Mm.
So if your starting damage is 50 and you're adding 18, you're adding basically half.
Almost half, yeah. Yikes.
So it's a pretty big damage increase.
Holy cow. I don't know how I feel that. Gamma says, so the guy's literally the Flash? Yeah, he cuts across the entire map. And then he punches you in the face.
And then he saves a bunch of CGI babies that
And
are
then
falling out of a hospital that's suspended up in the air for some reason.
Oh god, the CGI baby scene. Those were uncanny valley monstrosities.
But yeah, the Dota patch after TI, it's like the Raw after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looks forward to it because we're sick and tired of the same old shit and we want something new. But Ice Frog's probably going to disappoint us like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm hoping those heroes that I mentioned got hit. There's a couple other things that I hope get hit, but like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to say.
Balancing games hard, right? It's like we can kind of like gripe and complain as much as we want because we are aware that there's a problem, but like how to balance something is not as easy.
Yeah, and that's with like League. Riot does a good job of balancing their characters.
Well, good.
With Dota, Valve and Ice Frog are just kind of like, I mean, all the rest of them are broken, so who cares?
Well, what if
it doesn't break the game?
That's a mentality to have for sure. It's like, oh, if everything's broken, nothing's broken, right?
Yeah, they've done some pretty good updates like that too. I remember they introduced a hero called Hoodwink into the game, and it's just like a little squirrel, so it does like squirrel-esque things. Like its one skill is it throws an acorn, and the acorn bounces between your enemies and does damage. They didn't think of how much damage that acorn should do, so it got to a point where if you got like to level 4, you would throw one acorn, it would kill the whole creep wave and could possibly kill a support.
Wow.
And I played the shit out of Hoodwink when she first came out. I was just like, this is great. It's not going to last, but it's great.
Well, we've discussed in the past that your favorite type of gaming experience is whenever something's just dumb and exploitable, so you like to go for it. You know,
In certain situations, yes, Mystic Mind should come back to 3,
right?
but on, like, a whole, I wouldn't say that I like to exploit game. Just if it's something that, last Saturday, I took to saying that I only do things if I think they're funny,
Funny is
because
what I meant,
it's
not over exploitable. Yes.
because it's, one of the guys was like, "You play all these, like, janky crap decks, but you win sometimes." And it's like, yeah, because it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like pure paleos playing 40 traps is funny
Yeah, it's something that we're gonna get into now that we're talking about card games and card games.
in card games.
And the ritual event is going on in Master Duel. You can only play ritual decks, and they've banned quite a bit of extra deck monsters unless it looks like they could fit into a ritual archetype or into like some kind of ritual mechanic. Like so, for example, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon isn't banned. You know, you could play Blue
Because it
Eyes
could
Ultimate.
easily get into Chaos Max.
Exactly. So you could
Put on.
like Chaos Max for it, right? So
Yeah.
it's basically what's going on. So like there's a lot of things that my so like the Herald of the Arclight is legal. Herald of the what's the link
Pure
Herald?
uh there's Pure Light, which is the Pure Light's the Xyz, Arc Light is the Synchro,
Hmm. Mirage is
and
Herald of the Mirage lights.
Mirage. Yeah.
Yeah, so like so you can run those and a bunch of other stuff that's ritual adjacent, right?
So
So
if it's in like a ritual themed deck, then yeah.
right, right, and they have that new ritual Link 2 support, Dynamondo, that's in there too. So you could play Dynamondo, that's fine. But for a majority of it, like anything that would be otherwise useful in an extra deck has been completely removed. Additionally, no Max C. That's a choice that they made. Uh,
Wow, it's like that's a problem card.
you would think so. I think in this particular event, Maxi would be a welcome addition. Because have you seen what Libromancer and Nuvelace can do? They just keep going.
I mean, I play Nouvelace, so I'm
Right.
aware.
So basically, you could in this event you can earn about 3,000 gems, and you could also get some really cool prizes. Like you have like the Banish Zone and Graveyard piece that is contract with the Abyss. It's pretty cool. And you could get the Ritual 2023 title, which does anybody pay attention to titles? I sure don't. Uh,
Nope.
so the three loner decks is the most fun out of this. So check it out. So for the anime
Let me
fans,
guess.
okay,
Oh,
go for it.
do you? Oh, you just have three. Okay, I can guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Cyber Angels,
Uh huh.
uh, Blue Eyes,
Mm.
and Megalith. I know it's not gonna be Megalith, but yeah.
Yeah. So you got one of them, which is the one that's on the screen
Damn.
right now. You got Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is one. Uh, so it's your standard Blue Eyes Chaos Max build. You got like the ritual spell. You got like your Blue Eyes White Dragon. You got like the Maiden. You got the stones, the alternatives. You get like
I'm gonna like stop you and put standard in quotations.
yeah. So
Okay, you can continue.
very quote unquote standard, right? The thing that's missing, and like a couple of things were weird to me. So like for example, you get one bingo machine go, which I feel like that's weird. You know, like that is a good searcher. Why would they only
Yeah,
give you
that's a
one?
three of.
Yeah,
You play three bingo machine.
you play three
Doesn't
bingo
matter.
machine. Exactly. The other thing is, shoot, they don't have any way for you to give your opponent something with zero defense. I would 100% have given them like creature swap and just put
I
like,
also see they play. I believe that's the spell card that like summons 3 blue eyes by banishing all cards on your hand, field, and graveyard. It's like the third from last.
Third from
Or
last.
no, that's not burst stream of destruction.
No.
There's a card that in blue eyes that says like banish your field, hand, and graveyard, and then you can summon 3 blue eyes white dragons to your field.
Yeah.
And it's just like
It's kind of a
I get what you're going for there,
that is a
but
steep
why?
price. Yikes. But yeah, this is the one that you see like every now and again. You know, like Blue Eyes is Blue Eyes, and people love it. So I mean, like, it's not gonna go anywhere. Uh, and the addition of like the Jet Dragon is good because Jet Dragon. Have you seen what Jet Dragon does? It's kind of ridiculous.
It's pretty good, but like
Yeah.
eh,
It,
yeah, I mean it's all right.
it's all right, right? I feel like this is one.
We're talking about a blue eyes deck. We're not talking about something that's meta, like
No,
super meta relevant.
in this ritual event, it does okay. It does
Yeah,
pretty okay. Second one, so you said it was Cyber Angels, Megalith, and Blue Eyes. So you got Blue Eyes. The second one is Libromancers.
this is a deck that I wanted to play, but I just never. I think it's Geek Boy. I don't have any copies of that, and that
Uh,
was like the more expensive one, I believe.
yeah, he's been reprinted in the Megatons now, so I mean, you could probably
But
pick
is
him up
he
for cheap.
still like super shiny, or is he like
Yeah,
not super shiny?
no, yeah, he's still super shiny. He's not like a secret, but he's like an ultra or like a super or whatever. So this is Libromancer, and Libromancer. I know people who played Libromancer whenever it first came out, and back then it was okay. It has a lot more tools now to basically just keep on extending. Every time I think I have them dead to rights, they figure out a way to recover, and it's kind of frustrating.
Geek Boy only costs 45 cents. I'm buying this deck.
Yeah, go for it. Their new continuous spells are actually really good because they help them keep returning like resources whenever you do something to them. It's weird, or not weird, but it's just really really good. So here's a weird thing. They gave them 2 Forbidden Droplet. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a loner deck have like just such a high impact card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the first thing that my eye went to when I was looking at this. The 2 called by and the 2 droplets.
Yep.
It was just like I kind of feel like Konami wanted this deck to be good.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna lie.
know.
Usually, whenever I'm going up against Libromancer, I have the hardest time against them. Uh, because, like I said, like it's kind of like you got to make sure you OTK them, otherwise they're gonna recur too many resources for you to be able to like put up a second fight. So it's like go for the throat the first time. Uh,
And that's, you only have the one game,
yeah,
because if you lose, then it's not a best of 3. It's
yeah.
just game over. You
I'm
lose.
cool with that, but like every now and then your opponent just draws better. I mean, it is what it is. Uh, but lastly, Icon has the last one is the cheeseburger deck, the hungry burger deck.
I don't like the ratios that they're running with
The
this
ratios
stuff.
look really weird.
Okay,
Yes, like
because you should always run 3 of the level 1, and then 2, and then 1 of each other.
yeah, it looks like they gave you 2 of each, which to me felt weird. I'm like, this is gonna be this brick's really hard.
I also feel like they have like not enough monsters.
Yeah, a little bit. I
Like
can.
outside of the rituals, they have the 3 Manju and the 2 pendulums.
Mm, yeah, the three
But like
manju.
for mine, I have, I think, probably 8 or so incantations, because it's just like really really easy to get the stuff out on the field with incantations.
Gamma says that it's 2 of each because that means you're taking a date out to eat, so you can't just order for yourself. You see.
I'm banning Gamma from the chat.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I love that. Um, but yeah, like you get you get the burger deck, which like I
I do I want to point out real quick. I do
mm.
like they have the one singular copy of hamburger recipe, implying that they some you can't actually. I don't think you can actually search hamburger recipe with any of the Nouvelles cards.
I don't think so either.
So it's just like if I draw this and I have Hungry Burger in my hand, I can summon Hungry Burger.
Yeah.
But who would do that?
So you're basically running two bricks. Like,
Yeah.
Something to mention here is that they gave Nouvelles 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. So now I'm going back because I feel like Blue Eyes didn't get anything really,
Oh
really
no, Blue
good.
Eyes didn't. I went back. Blue Eyes did not get anything. Like the good card for Blue Eyes, Bingo Machine. They gave them one copy of
They
Bingo
gave him one
Machine.
copy, yeah. Like, so I feel like they should have given like, just to kind of follow along, probably give Blue Eyes like triple tactics talent. So triple tax, forbidden droplet, and then infinite impermanence. It just feels about fair.
It's just like you could have given them 3 copies of Trade In. You could have given them 3 copies of.
Do they not have Trade-In? They have 1 copy of Trade-In.
Yeah. 1 copy of Trade-In, 1 copy of Bingo Machine. Give them 3 of both. Get rid of like some of this other card. You don't need 2 copies of the trap. And I don't remember what that Blue Eyes Ultimate card by the trap does, but you don't need that.
Yeah, like those are 3 that you can remove easy peasy. I would argue you probably don't need Maiden with Eyes of Blue either. It's nice to be able to get a Blue Eyes out of your hand, but like
I didn't even see that they had Maiden in there. Just give another White Stone of Legend.
Right. In this deck, I feel like you're prioritizing your Chaos Max Dragon, so I wouldn't even play anything that's just like, hey, drop a Blue Eyes on the field. I'm like, oh, they're never hitting the field. We're using them for rituals as quickly as we can.
In this episode, Bard and Dare tear Konami apart for having shit deck building after 20 years.
I was like, you guys invented the game. How do you not know?
We like to think of it as if it was still 2003. And we want to make our deck as if it was in 2003.
Gamma says, Blue Eyes looks like it went to a pawn shop and got those ratios. This is budget Blue Eyes here. Which, what's funny is you could actually play a relatively well-built, like, super rare Nouvelles deck. Like, it's not going to be great, but it's low rarity. And it still functions. You get, like, all of your key cards, because I think, like, the highest, I think that the highest rarity Nouvelles card is the field spell at a UR, and everything else is SR and under.
I can see Bear Grum or whatever the level 6 is.
Oh, Veil Grill? It's a rare.
Yeah, Bear Grill. It's a rare?
It's a rare.
Yeah, then unless like the level 1 is an ultra, then yeah, you can easily build that.
Yeah, you can build this like almost with no ultra rares whatsoever, so it's actually pretty cool. And Libromancers.
The more I'm actually looking at this Nouvelles deck list, the more like upset I'm getting with it too, because they only play one of the fire, I think it's meat recipe.
Yeah.
They have 2 fish recipe and 1 meat recipe, and then fucking Hungry Burger recipe. And it's like, why would you do that? Just run 2 and 2 if you want to do so. Get the fucking Hungry Burger recipe out.
Okay, Gamma's challenging me. He says that he thinks that the guy is a what do you call it? A UR? I doubt that. I doubt that so much. I'm gonna open Master Duel right now. Let's go looking. Unless
all I know is all 3 of these have hurt me in different ways.
So what I was the point that I was trying to make here is, so Nouvelles and Libromancers can be built relatively cheap, but Blue Eyes is the deck with the highest amount of URs. I almost wonder if they're kind of like balancing them, kind of like a loadout, where it's like you can have this many URs, this many SR, so you can have this much value in a deck. And I think that that's kind of what they're doing. Um, let's see. Wait, no, 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 no. Come back. Everyone can hear the Master Duel music now. I gotta go search for Nouvelles. 2 seconds. I gotta know because I'm pretty sure Bale Grill is a what do you call it? No, he's right. It's a UR. Bale Grill is a UR, and the field spell is a UR, but everything else is SR and under. Yeah, yeah, he was right. He can't.
I was also correct because I also said that. So
Yeah, both of you were right,
GG.
but Bard was wrong.
GG.
I hope you savor this victory.
The thing that we can all take away from this is that after 20 years, Konami still doesn't know how to make a proper deck.
Yeah, that's true. Like we have nothing to look to except like every structure deck that they ever released to kind of see that, don't we? Where like usually a structure deck will have like the most "why is this card here" feelings ever, right?
They're getting better.
They're getting better. Like the Alba Strike was pretty good, and the Trap Tricks one was pretty good too. But
They still haven't gotten to the point where they're giving us multiple copies of like key cards, so you have to
right,
buy 3 copies of the deck.
I think that's just a good business plan, though. To be honest.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's like when they start giving us like when the box stops lying, saying that they're tournament ready decks, then then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But you can't just take a structure deck, go to a tournament and play and be like, oh, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, not usually. You have to trick it out a little bit. You know, like these are ready to play out of the box. I believe that. Not tournament play. You know, like you could play them with your
No.
friends, but but that's really about it.
Speaking about what you found on Twitter or X, or does anyone even call it X,
yeah,
with your friends?
yeah. This is a card that showed up on the Yu-Gi-Oh Twitterverse, and it looks like a younger version of Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Um, it looks to be a link too because I see two arrows. Unless I'm not seeing one, there is writing off to the right side of it, so there might be like an arrow there, but I honestly don't see it, so I don't think so. Yeah, light attribute link to the artwork depicts what appears to be the younger version of Underworld Goddess, and the text box is redacted. However, from the
It says, "White girl, save me. White girl, save me. White girl."
did you look up what it says?
I'm sitting here reading it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. There is like that. There is the meme.
I don't have to look up what it says.
I didn't
I'm
even
looking at.
notice. I didn't even notice that it had writing. But what I was gonna say is, based on the set name underneath the artwork, it says V Jump, so it kind of looks like it's gonna be a Shonen Jump promo.
Most likely, they
Yeah.
like to. Damn, I'm sleepy. They like to tease stuff like this and then put it in a V Jump promo. That way, it goes to be like $30+ per copy, and they reprint it along the line somewhere, and then
Yeah.
it just drops.
The big question here is gonna be like, is because as you know, Dare, you've been playing this game for a long time, so have I. Link 2s are usually the most BS Link monsters that exist. Think
Yeah.
Hulk. Think, what's it called?
Verte.
Verte. And this is a Link 2 also. And as we know, the Link 5 lets you tribute a monster on your opponent's field. So my
Hulk,
question...
Verte, Electromite,
Electromite.
Beyond the Pendulum,
Oh, yeah, Beyond the Pendulum.
IP Masquerade,
IP Masquerade, SP
SP
Little
Little
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah. So it feels like Link 2s are disproportionately powerful based on what they are. Uh, so
They're the easiest to make, I would say, and for the effects that they're given, then yeah, they're. I think Link 2s need to be brought back a little bit because there's too many of them that are too good.
Or make the, like we've had this conversation before, like things that are powerful, if you make them archetype or type or attribute specific, a lot of the times they lose a lot of that, splash ability that makes them busted in every deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Make Verite require a Predaplant.
yeah.
Make Hulk require a Crystron. I think the Verite one would still cause an issue because people would just play 3 Scorpio, 1 Darling,
Mm-hmm.
and then that would be your thing.
Yeah.
But
And make,
that
what do you
gives you
call
like a
it?
whole fusion engine.
Make, what do you call
So,
it? What's the name of that one? Baron require a floor monster or a warrior tuner or a wind tuner or anything, Uh, so
or
like,
just give Mystic Mind back. There's 2.
sure. But like, so that's kind of the thing that is concerning me here is that since Link 2s are usually very disproportionately powerful for what they are, I kind of wonder what this one's going to do. And based on the arrows, because you'll notice that the arrows do not point to your own field, they point to the opponent's field. I'm willing to believe that it is going to have like a use one of your opponent's monsters as material thing, but it's going to be like it
Yeah,
has to point to
like
them.
yeah, it's definitely a target monster that this card points to do X, Y, Z with it.
Right.
It maybe like it would be like Relinquished Anima where you summon it in the monster zone where your opponent's card is.
Right.
That way you can suck it up with Anima.
Yeah.
But Relinquished Anima is also not the greatest card in the world. But
Yeah, because like it really depends on something being in that zone that it points to.
which means you have 2 out of 5 chance that your opponent will like summon there.
Yeah, it's like a 2 out of 5 chance, and then like if it doesn't happen, I mean, you're just out of luck. I have Relinquished Anima in my Purelli deck, and it's like every time that I'm like, oh man, I could use Relinquished Anima, and it would be great if that monster was one zone over. I'm like, this sucks. But yeah, that's basically what I feel this is gonna be. If it's like an Unchained thing, like Gamma saying in the chat, because Unchained is like, oh yeah, link off with your opponent's monsters, right? If this is one of those that's like, hey, you can link summon using a monster that this card points to, yeah, basically yes. So
Well, given the fact that it does look like underworld goddess,
underwear goddess.
I didn't say underwear. I
It
said
sounded like
underworld.
you did.
So, well, you were a pervert. There we
Maybe.
go.
I mean, that's
GG
true.
Notary.
We always knew
Since
this.
it's yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah.
But since it does look like underworld world goddess, I would say that it probably does have a good chance of being like you can use this card. Maybe I don't want this to be a thing, but maybe it'll be like an IP effect where on your opponent's turn you can link summon using an opponent's monster that this card points to.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, just instantly fucking banned.
Just like quick effect. I mean, I guess the one good thing about it is that it's super telegraphed, and your opponent can play around it because it has to be pointing to that zone, right? But
Yeah,
yeah.
but what happens if you're playing a deck that kind of just says like you can't summon to these zones?
Oh,
Like there's not been one of those in a recent meta.
yikes.
Cash Tira.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't like the thought of it. I guess, part of me is always like, oh yeah, Kashtira can't use their link zone. They always put Shangri-Ira there. And then I'm like, wait, they don't have to. I was like, oh, right, they don't.
Just summon your Shangri-Ira anywhere else and then block off the 2 or 3 zones that you can't point to with this.
Yeah.
And then pass. And it's like, oh, hey. At that point, you're already winning the game, so.
For sure. I mean, it is a valiant effort if you can make it. But speaking of Valiant Smashers snuck up on me. Did you know that Valiant Smashers was out? I didn't.
I did because every YouTuber that I watched was bitching about it.
Yeah.
They were like, we just got Rarity Collection, and then you're releasing another set a week later,
So wait, are we
which is,
complaining over the fact that we got two banger sets back to back? Because that sounds like what we're doing
yes, because we got two banger sets back to back,
at the end of
but
the year.
it's two sets that you need to dump money in because they're both meta relevant sets, and if you want to play meta, these sets are like what you
Uh,
need to go for.
this is something that I was gonna mention that I hate that Centurion is so expensive because I was really looking forward to playing that deck.
Oh yeah, I could have told you you're gonna have to spend money for it.
Oh, dude, every main like every significant card in that archetype is at least $30.
Yeah, Primus 28, Truda is 22, Liquida is 22.
Now, and here's something that I
I'm assuming
mentioned.
this Emblema Oath,
Right,
that's 34.
it is. And what I was going to mention here is that I did look it up on TCG Player earlier. Out of the top 5 most expensive cards out of Valiant Smashers, Centurion is 4 of them. So I was like, oh god.
So, something I did see in it, which actually I'm looking at it, I could probably make a Valmonica deck.
Yeah,
So it's like
Valmonica and Memento are super cheap. Like they cost nothing to make.
looks like the most expensive Valmonica is 650, and then you have 360.
Hmm.
Other than that, it's like dirt cheap.
Uh,
But
Valiant Smashers came out today or yesterday, right? Because whenever I was looking
yesterday,
yesterday,
Thursday.
okay, because I was looking through the TCG player listings earlier today when I was putting this slideshow together, and I noticed that there wasn't any any sales listings for anything that was a collector's rare or otherwise. Is there no collector's rares in this set? I kind of figured there would be.
No, there are.
There are.
There usually at the beginning, since there's no market price,
Mm-hmm.
because whenever you do like price high from low, it goes off of the market price. Um, all the collector rare stuff is at the back. So like
Oh, I see.
Memento Trishula is $30. Ange is 54.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Valmonica Skelta is 50. So I mean, they're collectors rare, but they're all on the back.
Nah, I gotcha. I gotcha. I didn't see them, so I was kind of like, because I listed from high to low just to kind of see what was the important stuff, and I didn't see any collectors rares listed, so I was like, oh, weird. Is there none in this set? And I kind of figured like maybe it's just everybody still cracking their cases, so they're just kind of like figuring out what collectors rares they have and before they list them and stuff. I don't know. Uh,
Something that caught my eye with this set is for some reason, and maybe you know, I don't think you do. They have Mechlord Emperor Weisel and Grinnell in this set as a reprint as a rare.
Oh, dude, like I don't know either. Like there was some things listed in here as reprints that I was kind of like, okay, so honest makes sense. There's light monsters in here. Honest, yeah, okay. We have Summoner Monk, which I'm like, yeah, usually, yeah, it's a good card to have if you have like a spellcaster deck or whatever, or like a deck that's heavy on spells. Uh,
Archlord Christie is a good reprint, and
Art Lord
same with Trick
Christia,
Clown.
yeah, Trick Clown, Baguska is one. I saw
The
Colossal Fighter, and
the
I was like, Colossal Fighter. I was like, oh, Centurion. Okay, yeah.
but the fucking the Mechlord Weisel and Grinnell.
No, I
Like
didn't see
I,
those, but like, yeah, those are weird reprints.
I could understand if you wanted to like give them a collector rare for some reason, maybe. But
Right. And
um,
usually for these deck build packs, for these deck build packs, they'll include cards that they feel are relevant to whatever strategies you have in those packs. Uh,
what strategy are the Mechlords?
it,
Why?
precisely, that's where I'm coming from. I was like, where do those go in? I don't know. So, but that's where we're at. I mean, that's Valiant Smashers. What do you think?
I think with looking at these prices, I may try to pick up a Valmonica and Memento core
Yeah, same.
because they both seem very cheap.
Yeah.
Memento seems kind of expensive because Tench Witch is 15, and then Bone Party is 10 each. But like the Valmonica, like I said, is like dirt cheap.
I might pick up Valmonica mostly because the thing is, out of deck build packs, it's very common for decks that are in there to be nothing and then just get some support later on and become really good. Like we've seen it in
Like
the past.
Labyrinth.
Like Labyrinth, like I mean Runic was pretty good out of the gate, but like things like Sky Striker, Eldritch, stuff like that. So part of me is kind of like definitely pick up a core of what you can because chances are like if it gets just some really good support later on and it just kind of pops off, you're gonna wish you had. Um, the problem is I wanted to play Centurion, which is the expensive one out of it, so I'm like, well, I'm out of luck, but yeah, I'll pick up Valmonica, I guess. Memento, I'm not a fan of how they look. I think they're kind of meh, but
Well, see, the Memento, you understand what they're going with the Memento cards,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I understand.
It's supposed to be like retrains of like old monsters. Like Memento Mace is Key Mace,
Right.
and try Memento Trihorn Dragon or Mementolin Horn Dragon is Trihorn Dragon.
Yeah,
Mementolin Goblin is Goblin Calligrapher.
right. And I get that, but like the thing is, aesthetically, I don't like how they look. You they
And
they,
that's understandable.
they
They're
seem a little
kind of
over designed to me.
they're supposed to look uh, like dead creatures, like
Yeah.
dead bone creatures and whatnot. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. So to me, it's just an aesthetics thing. Like for example, I also don't like the way Boojins look, so I just don't play Boojins. Yeah,
let's. I gotta say that I don't really like the way the Valmonica stuff looks, but I also just love Pendulum Monsters, so I'm looking past it.
Yeah, and the thing about Valmonica to me is I love the theme of it. Like they're the angel and the devil on your shoulder. I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. I love when Yu-Gi-Oh just does like really stupid crap like that and just like incorporates it into a part of into part of an archetype. Like I am still here in the year of our Lord 2023 wishing that Arcana Force had some support that actually made it good because I think that the whole theme around Arcana Force is really cool. Like, hey, you're playing a tarot deck basically, but they're Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was like, that's dope. I love that. But
I would like if Flower Guardians had more support.
yeah, I
Had
mean,
Flower Guardians,
yeah, stuff like that. So,
flowers.
so yeah, I think I'll be picking up a Valmonica engine too. You know, just to have it would be nice. With that, I guess we're gonna pass on to the last segment here, anime and entertainment. Oh, I thought you had given us something, but I guess no. I was thinking of the Dota thing. What we do have is the trailer for Yu Yu Hakusho dropped, the live action, and I watched it. And the thing is, I hate to get excited about live action adaptations because they have such a history of being crap. Like so far, like One Piece is carrying live action adaptations on its back because it's like the good one, right? But we
Yeah,
think about things like like Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action movie, which sucked. We think about Cowboy Bebop, which was super cringe at points, and we think of Death Note, which was just absolutely disastrous. So we look at all those things and we're like, live action adaptations are tricky, man. Especially for whenever the concept's like really, really up there. Like for example, like there are things that get by easier when it's animation because you expect it to be a little over the top. But when it comes to live action, it feels weird when it is. That said, from watching the trailer, it looks to me like they were trying to stay a little more grounded. So I don't know if that's an attempt to appeal to a wider audience. The special effects look pretty good. If there is one thing that I will mention is that sometimes I'm okay if you're making a live action adaptation if you skip some of the anime stuff that goes into it. For example, I liked the One Piece live action. I think that Zoro's hair is really distracting because it's green in live action. Same thing when I'm watching this Yu Yu Hakusho trailer. I'm noticing Kurama's hair, which is supposed to be pink, is really vibrant and distracting. Part of me was like, you could have made him a redhead, like just red hair, like would have been a lot easier to digest, Um, so, but that's me just nitpicking on things that are my preference. Um, I don't think the trailer looks bad. I think it looks really good, which is I'm saying with a modicum of caution because I get excited for live action adaptations a lot, and when they inevitably end up letting me down, I get kind of disappointed. And this is a property that I really, really like, so I want it to do well. And I'm worried that it might not. So I
Well,
hope.
it's the one that they play Chinese checkers like Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. In one episode for sure. They did show a couple of like Yu Yu Hakusho deals with ghosts and demons and stuff. They showed a couple of the demons and sure, they look pretty cool. They showed a couple of like the anime attacks, like like the spirit gun and stuff like that, which basically are kamehamehas from like Dragon Ball Z. Basically, it's energy attacks, right? And yeah, it didn't look like it didn't take you out of the immersion. You're like, yeah, okay, that looks, yeah, I can accept that. They at the very end of the trailer they showed Toguro, which Toguro is kind of like the fan favorite bad guy from Yu Yu Hakusho. So it's my expectation that the first season is going to end either at the start of the Dark Tournament, which is like their big bad arc, or it's just going to be like something that they tease for season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Like I was excited to see this. Have you ever seen John Wick?
They took his dog.
Yeah, they took his dog, but the the what do you call it? Brother Gamma says the guy was not in his baby form. No, Koenma was not in his baby form. He still had the pacifier. That's a choice that they made, and I guess, yeah, I guess it's fine.
They took his dog.
But yeah, John Wick director Chad Stahelski, Stahelski,
Stilettos.
words.
Stiletto.
I don't know how to pronounce this last name, but the point is, the director of John Wick, old Chad, said that he officially announced that there is an anime adaptation of the John Wick movies coming into existence. It's something that they signed off on. It's not going to be a one for one thing, like a one for one translation of the movies into anime form. I don't think. I figure that this is probably going to deal with John Wick at the height of his career before his retirement, right? Uh, the images that are on here are AI generated. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that this is actually what the anime is going to look like. But yeah, like that's kind of exciting. There's not really many details. We don't have like a studio in line to do it. We don't have like talent attached to it. It'd be really cool if Keanu Reeves came back for it. I doubt it, but like maybe. Um,
They took his dog.
but the other thing is, I do believe that. What else was I gonna say? Is oh yeah, old director man Chad said that it sounded to me from the interview that I read that he is a fan of anime and he intends to do this the justice that it deserves. John Wick being a really, really popular movie franchise. So I'm kind of excited to see it. Like I feel like this would be really cool, especially since this is one of those hyper gritty, hyper violent action movies that's really over the top. So I think it would translate really well into anime. I would really love to see that.
They took his dog.
Yeah. And speaking of dogs, the Spider Verse keeps growing.
We had we had a discussion early this morning on a person's stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's this Dota streamer, and she was going on about how like kids these days don't have like any imaginative outlet, whereas like we had Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, where it
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, here's this cool universe that it'd be cool to be a part of, and we could pretend to be part. And she was just like, kids these days don't have that. And this one guy is just like, they have the Spider Verse, and it's just like, fair, I guess.
I mean, kind of, but like also my man, like Spider-Man's been around forever though.
Yeah, the Spider Verse is new. There's
Yeah,
spiders all over the place in the Spider Verse.
I mean, I guess so. But the thing about this is a movie uh, from Sony Pictures based off a Spider-Man support character named Madam Web. And here's the thing that gets me is whenever I was introduced to Madam Web in the comics and in the 90s Spider-Man TV show, Madam Web is an old psychic lady in a parallel dimension. Uh, who guides Spider-Man through cryptic riddles and clues and stuff. And in this one, they made her a hot redhead paramedic. I'm just
Why
like,
is it also like, if she's supposed to help him, why does it also look like he's getting ready to kick her ass?
uh, comics back in the day didn't understand. Like, like the art was, you kind of had to do a lot of interpreting, yes. But it does look like Spider-Man's about to kick her in the face, right?
It's like, I'm the only spider person here.
But yeah, supposedly, like based off Marvel comics, there is a bunch of like of spider people who are basically like born under the totem of the spider or something like that, where basically like spider-based powers attach themselves to them. This is in the comics. And like you have a bunch of them that show up eventually to in Spider-Man's world. Like for example, you have Silk, you have Spider-Woman, you have list goes on, but the idea here is Madam Web is basically like the nexus where all of this stuff happens. She's the one that sees into the will of this, and she's the one that is at the center of the web and what have you. So it's really weird that we have like a support character like this taking the main role, but this is basically Sony playing with what they have, because like ever since like they did the Avengers movie with Spider-Man in it, Marvel's all like, yeah, you guys can take whatever Spider-Man character you want and make a movie out of them, but Spider-Man stays here. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, we will literally make a movie out of any Spider-Man character, dude. You think we're kidding? We'll take the most obscure characters that the main public doesn't know about, and we'll make a movie out of them. We promise. So, like I hear that Kraven the Hunter's getting a movie. Madam Web surprised me. I didn't even know this was a thing. But
Tom from accounting.
yeah, Tom from accounting. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they have like, oh, well, here's the J. Jonah Jameson movie. Like, sure.
Is he the? I want pictures of Spider-Man on my desk tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's him.
Yeah, I don't know Spider-Man characters. I was hoping that was the correct person.
That's the correct person. You were right on. So the film stars Dakota Johnson, who I'm pretty sure is the girl from 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know. I never watched that movie, but she looks like her, like based off of the trailers that I saw. So I think that's her. We also have, she's going to be joined by an ensemble of Spider Women, with actresses representing them, including Sydney Sweeney, Celeste O'Connor, and Isabella Merced. Other than that, I think I saw Adam Scott in the trailer. He's the guy from Parks and Recreation, the guy who plays the Cones of Dunshire, the guy who likes calzones.
The way you said that, I'm doubting the fact that you said you haven't seen 50 Shades of Grey.
I sure haven't.
I'm doubting it though.
Nah, I haven't seen it, Derek. Look,
the way you said it,
just because I own the book series doesn't mean I've seen the movie.
You're talking about it right now. I feel like you have the DVD on regular and Blu-ray.
I haven't owned a DVD in forever. I buy Blu-rays from time to time, but like I never watch them. I mean, it's just kind of like I'm weird.
It's just to have. It's one of those you just want to have it type things.
Yeah, because
I have Pacific Rim on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
but I don't have my computer was made like far after
Same.
2012, so I don't have a disk drive on it.
I
So I have
bought
no
an
way of watching this.
I bought a USB disk drive that I can plug into my computer to watch stuff, right? But like, yeah, no, it's exactly what I'm saying is, like I buy these things just to have them sometimes because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if I like a property, if I like a franchise, I want to support it, right? So like sometimes I'll just buy like a piece of merch or something. So I kind of do this like where I'll buy like a DVD of a movie that I thought was good, even though I'll never watch it on DVD. I'll just watch it on streaming. But
You
like,
wouldn't download a car, would you?
but it's like I liked this movie and I would like to to support this, so I will buy the DVD. So
Thanks for not even acknowledging that. That was stupid of me to say. I'm upset that I said it.
you know what's funny is like me and Border sometimes go watch movies when they come out, like like Marvel movies, DC movies, whatever. And it's funny whenever they were playing those in front of like movie presentations, they'd be like, "You wouldn't download a car, would you?" And Mordor was one of those guys who's like, "If there was a way to, I sure as hell would try." I was like, that is something you would say, absolutely.
Well, like one of the things that I always like is
Cars are expensive.
um, every now and then I'll just go and watch that old like kid play where it was the kids illegally downloading Foo Fighters music. And the other one just comes in and it's just Mike peeking the whole goddamn time, and he's just yelling with like a stapler on a stick to look like a gun.
Yeah, there's some ad campaigns that are absolutely bonkers, dude. It is just wow. But yeah, so like this is all I have for Madam Web. I mean, I like that when obscure characters get like movies. I thought like the Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of one of those weird ones where whenever they said we're making Guardians of the Galaxy the movie, and I'm like, okay, I know who they are because I'm a comic book nerd. However, I'm like, who else is gonna watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movie? We don't know who they are, and it ended up being like just like this runaway success that arguably shaped the sense of humor for the MCU going forward. But it ended up being this runaway success, and now they're like a household name. Same thing with Ant-Man. Like it's kind of like I know who Ant-Man is because I read comics, but then now it's kind of like okay, everybody knows who Ant-Man is. Paul Rudd, he's Ant-Man. So I like it when characters who aren't like the focal point of a comic book series get their own movie, especially if the movie ends up being good. I feel like this is too niche. Like I feel like this is entirely too niche. Like Madam Web as the lead of her movie feels weird. Like as a support role, I can see it, but like as the lead is, and this is me speaking through my prejudices because again, as I said, when I was introduced to Madam Web in the comics, she's an old lady in a throne in a parallel dimension, right? And so like, hey, young hot paramedic is now this is Madam Web, this character who just incongruously does not fit here. Like it's just like the image does not compute, and I'm like, yeah, it is.
Well, they gotta change the source material to sell.
Oh, that is something that happens too. Like sometimes something gets so popular based off of its movie that the comics kind of feel like this aftershock of it, where now like so for example, after the Captain America movie with Chris Evans, suddenly Captain America in the comics was Chris Evans. And same thing with like Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. Suddenly, Iron Man in the comics was a lot more like his movie counterpart. I think this was the most felt in Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, so like sometimes that happens. So it's possible, and I wouldn't exactly put money on it, but I'd be pretty confident betting $1 that Madam Web in the comics gets retrofitted to be this hot redhead because of the movie. So I don't know, like it's kind of one of those things. Let's see. Gamma says nowadays you can 3D print a car, so you probably could. I feel like that would cost about the same as buying a car. I feel because the amount of filament that you would have to buy, and the amount of time that it would take, no less. So I don't know, man. Like it's kind of
And
one
you'd
of.
have to like put it together.
Oh, and then you'd have to put it together. I mean, at that point, just buy it, dude. Like, I'm a huge person where I'm a huge fan of being like, hey, does this is this convenient for me? I'll pay an extra $5. You know, like just like I will pay a delivery fee just so that I don't have to go out and buy food. I will, you know. So it's kind of one of like those things where I was like, I would rather just. It, I don't want to have to put the car together myself after I 3D printed it. So by all means, you know, like just no, I would not download a car. But yeah,
Shame.
that's kind of the end of today. How you feeling there? How's the podcast for you today? You got any closing thoughts?
I feel sleepy. I want to go sleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat the remainder of that Chinese food I bought earlier. I'm so hungry suddenly. But until next time, thank you for watching, and also please remember to like, sub, and share. Leave us a comment. Tell us what your favorite part of today's episode was. And until next time, I have been the Midnight Bard,
I have been the midday Dareinger.
the Midday Dareinger, and adios.
Goodbye.